We're just getting started, but January is the month that has started strong in the year. Already I've had the best moments, and even the worst ones, so without further ado, let's begin. If you've been following my Instagram stories, I've bought a lot of toys in the first month of 2026. 9 to be exact. As far as my memory goes, I never bought that many toys in a single month, but that's probably because that most of the toys that I bought are relatively the cheapest deals I can find. So to not bore you with everything I bought, let's skim through the toys of January of this year very quickly in chronological order. Studio Series TFOne Airachnid is a complex figure sold at a deluxe price point. No, seriously, you feel that the engineering of this figure should be in the Voyager, right? Wrong. Hasbro pulled off the unthinkable and executed their engineering this incredible at a deluxe figure. Robot mode is solid, capturing the look of the character in the movie. Sure, the backpack is messy, but it does not compromise the overall look of the figure. The transformation is very fiddly with panels moving here and there, but the process is not too frustrating. The alt mode is quite alright. Sure, it is a futuristic drone and it doesn't need to be accurate to anything, but still not a fan of the fiddly transformation. Overall, not a bad start to my Transformers 2026 collection. 7 out of 10 is the score. With the Studio Series 86 Seeker mold around the corner, I really need a new Seeker mold to replace my aging Jinbao KO New Age Seekers. Sure, New Age Seekers are still great figures and still hold up to this day, but I still think it's time for a change. In anticipation of the Thundercracker figure, I bought the non-transforming Yolopark AMK Starscream for dirt cheap at $25. Singapore currency in case if you're wondering. How does it hold up? Surprisingly amazing. Sure, it doesn't transform, but as an action figure, I really had to say it. It's leaps and bounds better than the $300 Masterpiece offering. Unlike the Pro version, this figure does not sport battle damage, which is a good thing. Scale-wise, it may not scale well with your Masterpiece figures, but it does scale relatively well with your Chug figures, depending on who you ask. In conclusion, although it does not transform, it is still a great bridge between my New Age Seekers and the upcoming SS86 Seeker mold. 8 out of 10. With MediaCorp's Channel 5 airing Transformers movies on the first few weeks of 2026 as part of their Cine on 5 lineup, on the second week of January, with Revenge of the Fallen airing on Saturday, I bought a pre-owned copy of the Takara version of the Revenge of the Fallen Leader Prime on Carousel for just $100. Basically your standard leader class price. The most interesting part is that I bought it on the same day as the movie screening, on TV at least. As for the final product, it's not perfect. Yeah, the main issue with this figure is that the included battery is corroded, thus damaging the internal electronic components, which is normal, especially the fact that they stayed inside for almost 2 decades. But aside from that, most of the joints surprisingly remain nice and solid as it holds up every pose that I can think of. Speaking of poses, posability is limited for a figure, but for a 2009 figure, it's not that bad. Transformation is complicated for an 09 figure, but after handling recent Studio Series offerings, in retrospect, it's not that difficult. Speaking of the truck mode, it is very screen accurate for a consumer grade movie Optimus Prime figure. It has pin-on wheels which allows him to roll smoothly. The underside of the truck is mostly clean, which is amazing for a figure that came out in 2009. Overall, a great movie Optimus Prime in my collection, and it serves as a stark reminder of 2000s nostalgia and what could have been if I got into transforming Transformers at the time instead of the non-transforming RPMs. 9 out of 10, despite the battery corrosion. Police! This figure is very hard to find, and it took me a lot of effort to track this down until I find one in stock at Unrivaled Collectibles. Shout out to that store for having the product in stock. This is Studio Series The Last Night Barricade. Robot mode isn't the best looking. Sure, the head sculpt and the upper body looks good, but the lower body is far from it. His feet are just the car panels and they look atrocious compared to the original from 2017. Transformation, although fiddly, is an improvement over his 2007 Studio Series offering, with every panel fitting in nice and solid. The alt mode is an improvement over the original 2017 Deluxe, but when you're displaying the figure in robot mode, it doesn't change anything. Overall, not a bad figure, but not great either. There are reasons why the original did better, but there are some elements from this figure that are better than the original. 6 out of 10. While browsing through the LEGO product listings at the Toys R Us Singapore website, I found one new release that captivates me as a fan of Back to the Future. a $40 DeLorean with the minifigures of Doc Brown and Marty McFly, as well as accessories from parts 1 and 2. Although I have the Transformers collaborative figure, I'm a sucker for the time machine and I need figures for the two main characters in my life. So I bought it, and I gotta say, this is the definitive LEGO Back to the Future DeLorean set for the average consumer and a cheaper alternative to the expensive collector's set. Although the two models cannot be built simultaneously, LEGO found a way to make the interchangeable accessories built very easily and doesn't need a complete teardown. The build process is smooth and straightforward, thanks to LEGO's high quality bricks. The attention to detail is impressive for a vehicle this small. You have a flux capacitor, plutonium speedometer, and the time periods on the dashboard. Although there's a printing error in which there is a 1985 time period duplicate on the bottom instead of the correct 2015 time period. All in all, this set should be a must buy for Back to the Future fans, especially those who cannot afford the expensive model. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. 8.5 out of 10. As a child, Bruticus is the first combiner I've been introduced to ever since watching fan robot casting videos for the 5th Michael Bay Transformers movie back in 2015. And that was before Transformers The Last Knight became a thing. In actuality, The Last Knight didn't have Bruticus or even the Combaticons. Seriously, what do we have? Mohawk, Dreadbot, Nitro Zeus. I mean, Onslaught was in the movie, but he ain't the Combaticon leader that we're promised to get. Furthermore, seeing Bruticus in Fall of Cybertron is one of the coolest combiner action in Transformers history. As such, 2026 is the year in which I will complete my goal of completing a combiner, starting with Brawl, the left leg of Bruticus. My only complaint about Brawl is the price. Voyager price for what is relatively a deluxe size figure. Really, dude? But aside from that, Brawl looks good on every angle, especially with the back. Yes, he has a turret backpack, but I can't make a fuss about it because it is show accurate. Posability isn't the best in the world, but he can still show some expressive poses. Blastoff's in the house, and although his fists look weird and there's some slight hollowness in his legs, he also looks clean on every angle. Even his back looks clean. Look at you, Vortex! Yes, I'm getting him despite his flaws, just gotta complete Bruticus. Alt mode wise, both Brawl and Blastoff look clean on all sides. Just as long as you don't look at the undercarriage. But then again, you're never going to display your alt modes by the undercarriage, are you? Also, how is it possible that Brawl's tank mode fills in the hollow bits when SS-86 Megatron couldn't? Mind you, Brawl is Voyager price, 86 Megatron is Leader price. Inexcusable. All in all, a perfect start to completing Bruticus, with the two big B's being good in both the looks department and the engineer department. Also, Blastoff has the animation error head 0 out of 10. Nah, I'm kidding. 7.5 out of 10 for each. Here's a funny story. With the New England Patriots returning to the playoffs because of their evil Empire moniker, I got back into Star Wars. Mind you, I've never touched this franchise since 2019. We're in 2026 now, and after a New England win over Houston, I placed my order on a LEGO Star Wars Imperial Star Destroyer on Carousel, the 2024 release to be specific. However, there's a caveat to this. The product is sold at $65 because I'm not paying $260 for an Imperial Star Destroyer, but at the cost of being an unbranded knockoff. A week later, after New England clinched the AFC Champion title, the Star Destroyer arrived. The build process is tedious because of the tight tolerances of the pieces, but it is the expected trade-off when buying LEGO knockoffs. However, the end result isn't that bad. Aside from the poor quality minifigures, this is what I've always wanted with an Imperial Star Destroyer ever since watching the 2006 commercial when I was a kid, not knowing that the product came out in 2006. The stickers for the Star Destroyer are surprisingly detailed, unlike the tamper-graph detail of the minifigures. Unfortunately, some tolerances and mechanisms in the Star Destroyer are too tight, something that you won't experience with the official LEGO product. Overall, it is a great set if you can ignore the discrepancies with the quality, but the rough experience and the fact that this is not an official LEGO set really loses some points. Still, a 6.5 out of 10 is generous enough. Because of the aforementioned Star Destroyer's poor quality minifigures, I bought a pre-owned copy of LEGO's Darth Vader Mech just to get the new Darth Vader minifigure. Yes, this is done out of spite. Since this set has been sold out in every retail store I could find, I found it pre-owned on Carousel for $28. Sure, it is higher than face value, but what other choice do I have? However, I didn't build the mech. Instead, shout out to Dorian Bricktron's instructions on the alternate build, turning into Darth Vader's throne. I gotta say, I think the alternate build is better than the official's mech because I don't see mechs like this in the Star Wars universe. Sure, there are less features with the throne than the official's mech, but the throne makes much more sense to exist than the mech. Now to what I want to get. Darth Vader. This figure never disappoints, and it is a huge improvement from the 2015 figure. There are details on his arms, legs, and even his back. Even the face is improved in the detail department compared to 2015's. Overall, as a mech set, despite a good Darth Vader minifigure, is mediocre at best. But Dorian Bricktron's alternate build turns his 4 out of 10 set into a slightly better, but not great, 5 out of 10. In conclusion, never in my life I had bought that many toys in a single month. And with MediaCorp's weekly Transformers movies coming to an end, so does my shopping spree for now. I may come back to Transformers toys and such, but it's time to give a well-deserved break. On January 22nd, if I remember correctly, Singapore has faced an island-wide bus arrival time blackout, meaning that the estimated times of arrival are unavailable on every application and service that provides it. What a total fucking inconvenience, because now you have to play some sort of guessing game on when the next bus will arrive. And if you're lucky, you'll get to your destination in time, but if not, good luck I guess. Thankfully the issue has been resolved now, but still, it sucks because people were late because of that.
Oh, for God's sake!
But anyways guys, these are the best and worst moments of January 2026. If you do enjoy this video, do give it a big thumbs up, like, comment down below on what is your best and worst of January 2026, and do subscribe to my channel for more content. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Deuce out.